Hello, world! Welcome to episode number 325 of the Comic Watchers Show. He's Chad, I'm Matt, and this is our show about comics. With us this week is our returning guest, Rich Douek, here to talk to us about Masters of the Universe, Genesis from Dark Horse. Rich, welcome, sir.
Thanks. Hey, thanks for having me, guys. It's good to be back.
Absolutely.
I think it was for Drive Like Hell last time.
Yeah, probably. So that's already been like a couple of years now, but
Yeah.
But I'm
It's
staying busy.
far in your rearview mirror. So you're the Masters of the Universe guy at Dark Horse now, man. How has that journey been for you so far?
It's been really great. It's kind of funny how it all came about. Like, wasn't really planning to be, writing Master of the Universe, but I was talking to my editor on Drive Like Hell. Actually, we were just talking about possibilities of like what to work on at Dark Horse, and he mentioned that they were going to start doing more Master of the Universe stuff, and he was like, you should talk to Tim Seeley because Tim's writing the main book in Dark Horse's Masters of the Universe continuity. So it's like it started out as a mini series called Sword of Flaws, but that was doing well enough that they wanted to expand it, so they turned it into an ongoing. And so I just hooked up with Tim and we got to chatting, and he was telling me that they wanted to do this series called Genesis, which kind of explores like a little bit of the backstory of some of the characters in the setting other than He-Man. So we were just sort of batting around a couple of ideas, and we really settled on Skeletor just because he's the big bad and one of the most interesting guys on the scene. So and like just sort of Tim's like a huge Master Universe fan, and we just been sort of like talking about how we saw Skeletor and what kind of story we wanted to tell, and we just really vibed. And so we both went back to Brett and was like, hey, here's the plan. And luckily he dug it. So there we are.
Yeah, were you a pretty big MOTU fan going into this project?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the age when I was like the target demographic when the cartoon came out and the toys and stuff like that. So I had a whole bunch of He-Man toys and stuff. I never had Castle Greyskull, but I had a bunch of guys and a few of like the, little vehicles and stuff like that. And I always liked it and watched the show when I came home from school every day in the 2-hour cartoon block that was like on TV every day. And
mandatory.
Yeah. And, then like there just wasn't any kind of Master of the Universe stuff for a long, long time. So kind of fell out of it. But, getting back into it when I was doing research for this. So like I watched like the Kevin Smith show and stuff like that and got a little caught up. And yeah, there's, a lot of really cool stuff. But for me, it's definitely like way more rooted in kind of like the original like iteration of it.
Well, not to brag, but I still have the original Castle Greyskull, Snake Mountain, and Horde playset. So,
damn,
and
that's hardcore. Dad.
Hardcore.
Three or four popcorn tins full of action figures and vehicles.
Awesome. No.
Much to the chagrin of my wife.
Well, what's she gonna do?
Well, they're hanging out in the storage unit with the G.I. Joe and Transformers, so.
There you go.
At least they're in good company.
Yeah. They can have their own little Toy Story war.
Absolutely.
Freeze.
Kind of a vibe happening.
Yeah.
And they better not be unsorting my comics too.
So, Chad, do you want to jump in with a question, or?
Yeah. So, like you were saying, there's been a couple reimaginings of He-Man. There was the Cartoon Network, which kind of went along with the Image Comics relaunch back in the early 2000s, and then there was the Kevin Smiths. Are we going to see any of that mythology carry over to yours, or is, like you said, you're rooting it more in the original stuff?
Well, it's kind of like this is like a completely new continuity, so we're not really beholden to anything. I think you're gonna get a lot of more of like the flavor of like the original stuff, partly because that's just like the vibe to me anyway of Tim's title, and we do want it. We don't want it to sound like feel like have a completely different vibe. And the other thing is just sort of um, like from a technical perspective, it's like if I wanted to use something from like let's say like the Kevin Smith series, I'd have to be like, hey, like am I allowed to like use this or not? It's like because like there's a lot of like different rights involved and stuff like that. So just kind of approached it as like I wanted to kind of just be informed about it, but really just like doing our own thing. But it was more important to me, I think, to just sort of do my own take on like the original source material in terms of like the mini comics and the cartoons and stuff like that, because like again it's not that like I dislike the newer stuff, it's just like it's just a little bit cleaner and makes a little bit more sense to me to approach it that way.
I think some of the mini comics were my first introduction to comics. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look back at some of those, people like Paul Dini were writing some of those.
Yeah. And it was like it would come like the figures would come in like a blister pack, and there was like a mini comic behind it, and I think it used to be like it was like tied to the characters. Like if you got Beastman, a comic about Beastman, so it was like very cool, and it was just sort of this like extra added dimension to make you want to collect all the different toys.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when it comes to just sheer variety and imagination of characters, it was hard to beat Masters of the Universe.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like a little bit Conan, a little bit like Flash Gordon, a little bit, it's kind of like really cool mix of like sword and sorcery and science fiction that I think, was very unique at the time, especially for like, like kids media or something, you know what I mean? Like
Well,
it was. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was done. So.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, especially coming out in the '80s, like that was such a golden age for toys and action figures. I mean,
yeah,
we look back on it with fuzzy nostalgia, but I mean, there was some legitimately cool and also unique stuff happening at that time. I mean, you got MOTU, you got GI Joe, Ninja Turtles, Transformers,
Mask,
all their various and sundry knockoffs. Mask, yeah.
Mask. Thundercats,
ho! Yeah, all of that stuff. I mean, what a bonanza time to be a kid.
Yeah, and like
I was going to say, and the shows came with a lesson at the end.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Very moral lesson about like G.I. Joe's like knowing is half the battle, but Master of the Universe always had like that like kind of lesson at the end of like what. Like just really hammering it home, like kids, you got to be there, or like if you see like a fire, you have to call the fire department or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
getting back to your take on Skeletor for this mini series, MOTU Genesis, like it's important to me as a fan, but just kind of in general, that this isn't like setting up Skeletor as a tragic villain or on any sort of reverse redemption arc or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's a bad dude from the minute he pops up on the scene.
Yeah. That's actually something.
And I assume that was
yeah.
a very different choice.
Yeah, that's actually something Tim and I talked about, and I think one of the reasons why we like vibed so well on him was that I was like, I don't want to like if we're filling in Skeletor's backstory. I don't want it to be like, he had a terrible childhood, and when he was in sorcerer school, somebody splashed his face with acid, and that's why he's got a skull face, and and he's tortured, and he's really in love with Evelyn, and can't express. I was like, no. Skeletor is just a villain. Like, he's a bad guy. He likes being bad. It's like ruling a country is not enough. Ruling eternity is not enough. He wants to be master of the universe, like everything.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not that like, I think there's like a way to do that where like it could be like really shallow and like one note, but I think there's other ways to do it. And what I hope we did was just make it like a little bit deeper, where maybe it's the sort of thing where like you might understand a little bit about what's going on in his head, even as you recognize this is not something I should like sympathize or empathize with. Like we're not like trying to make him like a villain you identify with, but we are trying to kind of explain what's going on up there a little bit.
Not to give anything to away, and was it a choice to bring in the other villain person that you bring in the beginning, because they're kind of were introduced later into the series.
Yeah. We could just spoil. We're talking about the Horde. Like, we don't have to be like that vague. Yeah, like I brought the Horde into it because I always thought they were a very cool like aspect of the series, and it just sort of makes the world feel like a little bit bigger. I like Hordak as a character, just the idea that like as much of a monster as Skeletor is, that there's like this even kind of like bigger monster out there. So I wanted to just sort of bring that in as part of his backstory, because I feel like it could speak a lot to like his kind of motivations as to why he has this need to conquer stuff. And it was also just like Gavin and I had a lot of fun, because it's like, all right, Gavin, like, we're going to have like Skeletor leading the Horde. So if there's any Horde characters you want to draw in, like Grizzlor or I forget his name, but the two-headed guy. Like, I was like,
the mercenary. Too bad.
Too bad. Yeah, I was like, just draw all those dudes in. Have a blast. So that was another fun aspect of the series. It was just like, it was almost like if there was a character I liked or a character Gavin wanted to draw, it was like, yeah, like we'll figure out a way to get him in there, or her in there. So that
I love Easter eggs, and you had plenty of them in the opening sequence there with the evil Horde.
Yeah.
So is it only going to be Skeletor and his crew that are going to be part of the story, or are we going to see the other the good characters, I guess, kind of jump in and out of the story?
So it's definitely focused on the evil characters for most of it, because this is sort of like that part in Ocean's 11 where like they're getting the gang together. So like a big part of this story is like in this issue, he recruits Beastman and Merman. In upcoming issues, he's going to recruit the rest of his gang and stuff like that. So there is just sort of that aspect of like him getting all of them together to execute this plan that he has, that's going to eventually, in his mind, lead him to the steps of Greyskull to take it over. But that being said, when it does come time to execute that plan, we are going to see a couple of good guys. I think unexpected ones too. Like it's definitely not going to be He-Man, because at this point in the story, He-Man's not a thing yet. He's still Prince Adam. He hasn't gotten the sword yet. So He-Man's not going to show up. Not to disappoint anybody. If He-Man's your favorite character, I apologize. It's just a little bit early to bring him into it, but we're definitely going to see some familiar faces that aren't all deformed monsters in the service of evil.
Now, did you find it difficult when writing Skeletor? Did you find anything difficult to write about him or portray him, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like it's not like difficult, but it is kind of like one thing I always had to keep in mind was it's like, you know, Skeletor can very easily kind of like go over the top, especially like just like I know he's got a skull for a face. What was that?
Rich, are you there?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Matt, maybe you're not here.
It might be a Matt problem.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say, like, I know he's a skull and everything, but if he had a mustache, like, he'd be like mustache twirling, you know, like that kind of like over the top, like villainy. And it's like, if you're not careful with that tone, it can like kind of veer a little bit too.
Well, Chad, keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas like in the opposite direction, there's like the danger of it being like too straight and too serious. Then you kind of like lose all that like flavor. So I think like probably the most difficult thing for me was just sort of like figuring out like where to strike that balance of it being like yeah, like I'm gonna have some fun with things he says and the ways he acts, but also like just the like type of writer I am. It's like I didn't want it to come off like a straight comedy or like coming off like it was almost like making fun of that or something like that. Like I wanted to really take the story itself seriously.
Please tell me we're going to see Stinkor.
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. Then don't. So how is writing a comic like Masters of the Universe different from writing, you know, like let's say Drive Like Hell?
Well, I mean, there's just like sort of like the practical difference of like Drive Like Hell is like my creation, so and Alex's, so kind of like what we say goes, like in terms of like, you know, what happens or how the backstory or how the universe is set up and stuff like that. Whereas when you're writing Master of the Universe or writing something for Marvel or DC or anybody that has like this established continuity, it's like they aren't like having all that background. It's not like it's not like a set of handcuffs, because you know you can kind of like take what's useful for your story and like and leave the rest, but at the same time you have to like be aware of what's come before, so you don't like completely like shit on it for like no reason or anything, or something like that, or like and then you also have to keep in mind that they're not your characters, right? So
Right.
there's certain like, and this didn't really come up, but it's like there might be like something you want to do that like they're just like, I'm sorry, we can't do that because that will derail our plans for the movie, or like we're not gonna be able to sell our toys, or like if it was like Marvel or something, like, like we can't make that change to the character because it would just cause like ripple effect into like everybody else's stuff. So you're not kind of like the final decision maker when it comes to that. So like in a way, like to look at it one way, that's like limiting, but like to look at it another way, it's like it creates like a more interesting problem to solve, where it's like if you want to tell a story but you're aware that you have these constraints, it's like you have to figure out how to tell the story under those constraints, and a lot of times it can actually lead to like a more creative solution than maybe what you had in mind in the beginning.
You back with us, Matt? Maybe.
He looks like Frozen. Yeah, that he's just really unhappy with it. So.
I think so. Sorry about that. I'm having weird connection issues, which is very unusual. Oh, Lord.
Right.
Yeah. So, given that you're, working in the confines, how, of, what you can do, with the character, how does it, relate? I have yet to see the movie because nobody wanted to see it with me, and so I'll have to wait, I guess, till it comes on streaming. But how, I guess, parallel does it kind of run to, that iteration of He-Man and Eternia?
It doesn't directly, like Dark Horse did do, or I think they're in the middle of doing like a separate one that is a tie-in to the movie. This is like our own like the self-contained kind of continuity, so it doesn't really like affect anything directly, but it's more just like, I guess, just like the broader kind of thing, like it all kind of like interconnects. Like if it's like, like Skeletor's got to be blue skin with like a purple cowl because that's how we know it's Skeletor. You know what I mean? Like he's, or like He-Man's got to be blonde. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm just talking like aesthetic things, but it's also like goes to like their character. Like we wouldn't be able to like if I was like, oh well, no, in this story Skeletor is a good guy, like, and not even like his tragic backstory, like he's the hero and He-Man's the villain. It's like they would veto that because I assume they would, because it's just sort of like they wouldn't want somebody like reading the story and being like, wow, Skeletor is awesome, he's such a great hero, and then going and seeing the movie and being like, what? Like, why is he evil? He's not supposed to be evil. So it's just one of those things where it's like there's just like broad like lines that like you can't really cross because it's going to like affect the way people take in other stuff. So it's not like a direct effect, but it's just sort of this like pond ripple kind of thing, I guess.
Skeletor's really a anti-hero vigilante.
Yeah. He's got the Punisher skull instead of the Skeletor skull. Yeah. Yeah, it's just more like, like if we were going to do a story where like it was like reversing and like Skeletor was like a good guy or something, it's like I feel like we would have to like kind of like put all the toys back in the box in the correct manner by the end of it, so it was clear that like we didn't really change anything. We were just telling a story. So
now, was it a creative choice on your part that because Merman kind of appears, with him, but he's not kind of the blubbery, talking. Was it just to make it, easier to write him as somebody who, is can string together a complete sentence without
going blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah, it's a bit easier, and it's sort of like, I don't know. I feel like that would just get old after like
Yeah.
10 or 20 pages of it. So it's more just like, if you hear merman in your head with like the blubbering, like, by all means, like, when you read it, imagine that. But in the same way that, like, if like, I'm not like writing in like different accents, of like, I don't even know what an Eternian accent would be, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like writing it just as like straight dialogue, just so it's
Yeah.
easier to read.
Or like Beast Man, just kind of, because if I remember from the cartoon, right, he was kind of a more, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a moron in this too, or at least Skeletor treats him that way. Uh, not that he's like a moron, but he's just, he's a beast man. He's got different priorities. Uh, more about, like beating people up and being fearsome than he is about, strategy and tactics. And so
Now, is it? I'm going to assume this is a limited series that you're telling.
yeah, the way it's going to work is Genesis is a 12-issue book, and each character that's going to get highlighted is going to get 3 issues. So there's going to be 4 characters total. I'm not even 100% sure who the other ones are, but even if I was, I don't think I could spoil it. But you'll probably, I think issue 4 is probably going to get announced this month, like towards the end of this month. So you'll know soon enough anyway. But yeah, Gavin, Fabi, and I are doing issues 1 to 3. And then we're going to hand it off to another creative team who's going to pick it up with the next character, and then they'll do their 3 and hand it off, and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It sounds kind of like the DC Challenge type format almost.
Yeah, in a way. And it's like we're all kind of like, everybody's got their characters. Like, I know one of the writers that's going to be part of it is Caven Scott, and he had the character he's writing is one that he was like been dying to write for a long time. So so it's really cool because it's like, you're just getting like a lot of different takes from different creative teams, and like each one is like going to be like a team that like really has a lot of heart for the character they're doing.
So how did you get paired? Did you have a say in choosing Gavin, or was it how did that kind of?
It's funny because Gavin and I worked on Heartpiercer together at Dark Horse, which is a fantasy book, and I think like we've been friends for years. That was the first time we worked together, but we worked together really well. And I got like confirmation that I was going to be on this book at San Diego and Gavin last year, and Gavin was had his booth there, so I just kind of like went over and I was like, dude, like, you're not gonna believe this. Like, and I told him like, what was happening. He was like, dude, I want to fucking draw that. And I was like, all right, I'll see what I can do. So like we kind of worked it from both ends, where like I was saying like, oh, like, I would love, I when we start talking artists, like I have some suggestions, people I think would be great. And Gavin on his end, like, just started sending Brett all his like Heartpiercer pages and Turtles pages and stuff that he was doing, and like between the two of us, we sold him through. So so yeah, it was. But I love Gavin. I mean, he's an amazing artist, but also just like super like fun to work with and great to work with. Like just like very nice, very like easygoing, like we don't really like fight about anything. Like, we'll talk about stuff and we'll work stuff through, and we have like different opinions, but it's very, very collaborative. Um, so yeah, I was very happy that they chose him.
Matt, are you back?
I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and it's
can't see you, and you're moving, and
yeah, so it's great.
That's outstanding. So I'm sorry about that. I had to reset my entire laptop, and
All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it said I had a strong signal, but whatever. We're here. We love technology. So it sounds like you're talking about your art partners and the rest of the creative team on the book.
Yep.
It looks beautiful. I have to
Oh,
say,
thank
I read the first issue and I thought to myself, wow, this is exactly what I think, World of MOTU ought to look like. Rough hewn, maybe a little bit of Robert E. Howard in the background. Monsters and mermen looking ferocious enough. So, I mean, you got a good team working with you.
Yeah, and I think like a big part of that is Fabi Marquez, our colorist, because like we did, and I think this kind of like applies to the movie too, where it's like bright, like there's like the colors are like very vibrant, very like like Beastman is like fiery orange, and I think that just really contributes to just the feel, giving it this kind of like over the top kind of like sword and sorcery kind of feel. So I think she did an amazing job like over Gavin's line work, and I really give her a lot of credit for just bringing that whole kind of like I don't want to say cartoony feel, but just like a very like kind of like vibrant feel to it. Like everything is like really bold and really punchy. So
Well, it pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we can talk about comics theory and color theory and all of that, and how you want to have a lot of cool contrasts and images that pop off the page and all of that highfalutin stuff. But at the end of the day, like the MOTU universe is an assemblage of highly unique individual characters, and they need to contrast one another to make this amalgamated world work.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like superheroes. It's like they all have their costumes with like bright colors that really pop, because it's like, number one, it makes it easier to pick them out, but it just also just contributes to just like the whole overall like feel of it, that like epic kind of feel. Like because you could have like a dark fantasy book that's like more looking like something like Dark Souls, where it's like it's all like grays and browns and blacks and very like subdued and very gritty, and like that might work. That would like work totally for like a Conan story, but I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work great for a Master of the Universe story. There's just got to be that brightness and that color to it, or it's not going to feel like MOTU.
Exactly. Perhaps best exemplified by Prince Adam's pink and white ensemble.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, but boy, does it leap off the page and into your eyeballs.
Definitely.
So the property itself, Masters of the Universe, because of the movie, I feel like it's having a bit of a moment right now. And I know it was something of a box office letdown, but at the same time, like the people that saw it are like, heck yeah, this is what I want from a Masters of the Universe movie. It stands to reason to me that you've got some good kind of serendipity happening right now with that.
Yeah.
Is that a wave you're riding?
Yeah, we got a little wind in our sails from it, I think. I was saying before, I was like really pleasantly surprised that Jared Leto did such a good job as Skeletor, because the whole thing with him, like the past few movies, have just been like people are just like, not fans anymore. Apparently, so like going into it, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck," and I was like, in my head, part of me was like, like he's gonna like people are gonna be like crapping on the job he did with Skeletor, and then that's gonna make them be like Skeletor's a joke, and they're not gonna be like interested in the book. But he did such a good job, and was really kind of like, I don't know, just like a great Skeletor. Like maybe he's great in roles where you don't need to see his face. I don't know what it is, but he did a great job as Skeletor, and I think like that just like made me feel really good. It was like sitting there watching the movie. Yeah, the theater wasn't packed, but it was a really good movie and a great time. And watching what he was doing as Skeletor, I was like, like this is great because like they're doing Skeletor the way we did Skeletor, just in terms of like again, like what we were talking about before, with like there's no tragic backstory, there's no sympathizing. It's just like he's evil, he likes being evil, and like that's it. You know what I mean?
He has aspirations.
Yeah,
You're evil, but he's got them.
So it's just like, so that was just like very gratifying to be like, oh, like I had, even though like we're doing it a little bit differently, just because I think the tone of the movie was a little bit more comedic than the tone of our book.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like oh, like I got the cat, like in my head, like I got Skeletor the same way the guys that were writing the movie and the people acting in it, the way that they got Skeletor. So that was really nice to see. It was like almost like validating in a way, like you're like, oh, so I'm not going crazy. Like, this is like a valid take on the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we talked about doing our top 5 He-Man Masters of the Universe characters. So if you want to kind of segue into doing that, because I think a lot of my questions revolve around knowing what what characters Rich is in. So I guess I'll start with my number 5, and I will have to say a lot of the characters that I've picked mainly revolve around my memories and of them as as the original figures. But I think number 5 would have to be Roboto.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I had Roboto.
I never had Roboto. But again, like when I was thinking of like what my top 5 would be, a lot of it is also like based on like how excited I was with the figures. So I'm gonna go with Manny Faces, because Manny Faces is pretty cool. You had that little thing on top. You turn around and you had the robot face, the lizard face, and the human face.
Yeah.
Yes. My number 5 would be Mantenna, the bug guy with the extended balls. Yes.
He had like the eye stalks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was one of Hordak's people, wasn't he?
Yes, Hordak and the Snake Men, who I'm going to come back to, had some of the best figures. Absolutely. So, Rich, let's see. It looks like Chad had a thing happen.
Okay.
What's your number 4?
Okay, so for number 4, I'm gonna go with Fisto. I just, just because I have like the sense of humor of a 12-year-old.
Yes.
I just think it's hilarious that his name is Fisto and he has a giant fist and he fists. It's like
it's impossible not to make jokes.
Yeah, it's impossible, but I just, I'll go with Fisto.
I got you. Chad,
but as a kid, that you didn't know that that there was a joke.
Yeah. Totally over my head. But he was still cool because he had the giant fist, like a hammer.
Now, my number 4, I'm cheating. I'm doing a 3-way tie. Mossman, Stinkor, and who is it? Cobra Khan, because Mossman and Stinkor had the smells to them.
Yeah,
and then
pine air freshener, right? Like one of those trees in the car. Yeah. Stinkor was
And then Cobra Khan was you could fill him up with water and you could annoy you could miss people and annoy them. So
hell yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I think he was. I can't remember if he was Skeletor or a Horde person.
Well, if he's snake themed, it stands to reason he'd be one of the snake men, right?
Yeah.
So my number 4 would be Modulok.
Oh yeah, the scientist.
All of the interchangeable body parts. Build him up any which way you wanted. Oh, that would, dude. I was like 5 or something when I got that thing, and I thought it was the coolest thing you could possibly imagine. Just because both of the heads were evil looking, and you could just run wild with your imagination. And then there was also a robot variant of, it was a different character, but same concept of interchangeable body parts that was out there as well. I don't remember the name of that one though, but if one of you guys,
I can't remember. That doesn't ring a bell. I just remember the red pieces all over the place.
Absolutely. 22 pieces of interchangeable fun.
For number, go ahead with number 3.
Okay. So my number 3, a deep cut here is Zodak. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was
yellow and blue guy?
No, he was red, and he was weird because they never really used him that much. I think he was maybe in like 1 or 2 episodes. But he was like this kind of cosmic enforcer. So he was almost like the He-Man equivalent of like the Green Lantern Corps or something. But the reason why I love this character is the stupidest reason, but it's because he was the only one that came with a gun. Because he had like a ray gun, and to 10-year-old me, that was like, oh, like that guy's awesome. He's got a gun.
There was a cowboy character. He was one of the heroes that had guns that would pop up out of his wrists, and you swivel them around so that he was, quasi holding them. And then there were some in his legs too, and like his chest opened up and had a gun that came out.
Oh, wow.
And I have no idea what that guy's name was. It was a later addition to the line.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not probably way later because I don't remember. But yeah, I just remember the original. I think there were 7 or 8 figures, and he was the one that I just saw, and I was like, oh shit, that guy's got a gun. I gotta get him.
Okay, we're on number 3, right? I'm going to have to go with Ram Man.
Oh yeah,
because he was because not only did he the toy, you hit the little button on his foot and he rammed stuff, but he in the cartoon he really wasn't that bright.
Well, yeah, he kept hitting his head on everything. It's
and it was always fun to take him, and because the mini comic I remember is somehow Skeletor bewitches him and has him trying to ram the door down of Greyskull, and so doing that with toy it was always fun.
I remember that I think from they used that in the commercial, the TV commercial for the toy when he came out, because I remember that squeezing that was the thing. It was like he's ramming the door down in Greyskull. It was like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. All right, Matt, what's your...
So my number 3, because he's really... Yeah. My number 3 would be Too Bad, because you basically got 2 figures in one. And he was just really cool because he had 2 heads.
And he was spring-loaded so you can make him hit the other head.
They had spring arms, so they were you could make it punch the other one's head all the time, and it was just a ridiculous amount of fun.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, what's your number 2?
Number 2, I would have to go with Buzz Off. I mean, Stratos is cool.
Buzz.
Stratos is cool, but Buzz Off is a big B. And
The big B man.
yeah, it was just a cool toy because he had the wings, the plastic wings you could
Mm-hmm.
manipulate, I guess.
Mm-hmm. My number 2 is Trapjaw. Trapjaw was like super cool. He had like the modular arms. You could like he had a gun arm, a claw, and I think like a fist or something. But you could like take them off and switch them. I always thought that was super cool.
I loved, for my number 2, I loved, I can't remember his name, but he was a brown fuzzy guy, and he was one of the evil horde.
Grizzlor.
Yes. And I'll tell you why I love that. I had a cat at the time named Fred. I was a little kid, and I named everything Fred for some reason, right? And Fred would take this action figure in its mouth and carry it around like it was his baby. All over the house. I have photographic evidence, but also real memories of this, even though I was only like 4 or 5 years old. And yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing ever, but I can always associate Grizzlor with those happy type of memories.
Yeah, well, from what I remember, it was like he was really fuzzy, right? Like he had like, it was made with like,
Oh, he's super fuzzy.
Yeah. So I could see your cat mistaking it for
most definitely
other cat. All right.
Yeah.
Chad, did you do your number 2 yet?
So, all right.
Did I do
number 1?
Number 1s, yep.
Get down to number 1s. All right. Who wants to start it off?
I guess I'll go. I'm gonna go with Mecha Neck because it was just cool. You twist his body and his head went up, it went down, it went up, and then in the cartoon, he could, if I remember correctly, his eyes could go back and forth, and it was just
like a
cool. Yeah. He's like, oh, I just need to see over the. That's my number 1.
Nice.
Okay. All right, Rich, you're up.
All right. So, not to be cheesy, but my number 1 is Skeletor. It's just, part of it is because it's the first figure I got, and I remember like dragging my mom to the store because I wanted to get a He-Man. You know what I mean? Because He-Man was the hero, and like everybody wanted He-Man. When it actually got to the store, and I'm looking at the figures, and I see Skeletor, and I was like, this dude's much cooler than He-Man. So he was just like metal. I don't know, like skull face and staff, and he came with his own power sword. So I just thought he was like infinitely cooler than He-Man. So I guess it's like a little weird that like he's the guy that I wound up with, but writing the story about. But yeah, he really is like, I think, my favorite character in the franchise, both like as far as like the toys go and just like the cartoon and like all that stuff. He's like the guy that like resonated with me way more than He-Man did. And it worked out because my best friend had He-Man, so it was like it wasn't just going to be like 2 He-Mans fighting each other. All right.
Okay, Matt. Number 1.
Well, you could have. What was the name of the fake Prince Adam? Was it Faker?
Faker. Yep.
Those 2.
Yeah.
Yep. So they just took the mold for Prince Adam and painted a different color, which is fantastic.
Made him blue. Yeah.
In its own right. Okay. So my number 1 figure of all time that I absolutely love more than anything is a deep cut named Extendar. And he was this silver robotic dude, and like in his legs, his arms, his neck, and his torso, you could extend it up, and he would gain height and lengthen his arms and legs. And I don't know, he was just cool. Like
Yeah.
he was. I mean, what he you had a figure and you made it get he was taller. Like that's the
Sounds like,
most coolest thing ever when you're a little kid.
sounds like the Master Universe version of Stiltman.
Yes, you're not wrong. Not wrong at all. But yeah, very cool figure. Silver and gold armor. Don't know if he's supposed to be a robot or what, but whatever. Just a
Whatever.
super fun toy.
Just thinking about Masters of the Universe is like probably the first franchise to make be able to sell multiple versions of the same character, because you had He-Man, you had a Prince Adam figure, then you had Battle Armor He-Man, then you had He-Man with the caps, that when he twisted and punched, it went off, and then you had
Yeah.
He-Man and Skeletor with the dragons that squirted mist, and now I have 6 versions of He-Man.
Hey, those battle damage versions were cool. Like I had
Yeah,
that was
they're
my Skeletor was the battle damage version, and I absolutely loved having him get wrecked. So, well, Rich, so what can you tell us about what's to come in Genesis?
So, like I said, we've got 3 issues to tell the story. I think what's going to come up is a lot of these characters that we've brought up that are bringing into it as Skeletor gets his group together. So, definitely we're going to see Trapjaw, Triclops, Evelyn, all just your kind of classic core Skeletor evil warriors, as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get a good feeling as to why Skeletor is the way he is, and what this whole lust for power is all about by the end of issue 3. And I just know that we all had a great time creating this, so I hope everybody has a great time reading it.
Well, I have to say, having read the first issue, it's a tremendously fun comic.
Oh, awesome.
You've definitely pulled that aspect of it off. And more to the point, it feels like it's got a world building aspect to it rather than just being cheap nostalgia bait.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I'm so glad you liked it. But the world building was definitely part of it, because that was kind of part of the point of doing the series in the first place. It's it does stand on its own as its own thing, but it's also meant to tie into the main title and give it a little bit more context to make that title a richer read for you if you ever check that out. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, and you get to partner with Tim Seeley in that regard. So I mean,
yeah,
what more can you ask for? So,
yep.
All right, Chad.
Do you have anything else in the works that you can talk about, or no?
Yeah, I mean, some stuff that I can, some stuff that I can. I have a story in July's issue of Hello Darkness. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an anthology book. So I have a cool Western horror in there. It's called The Man Who Outdrew Death. Reuniting with Stevan Subic, who I did a Batman Brave and the Bold story with last year. Tremendous artist. And he just really nailed the weird Western vibes for this. I feel like Ennio Morricone is playing in the background as I was going through the pages. So that's coming out. And then I also have this story called Black Eye, and serializing through. That's actually right now on Black Market Presents, which is a new platform by. If you guys are familiar with Kyle Higgins,
Mm-hmm.
so Kyle does Radiant Black and does a lot of stuff, but all the stuff that he does is under this company called Black Market Narrative, So what he's doing is in his newsletter, he started this new section called Black Market Presents, which is like vertical scroll comics, kind of like webtoon style,
Oh,
just
sweet. Yeah.
showcasing different creators. It's free to read. If you just go to Kyle's Substack, you can sign up and read the first one. We just turned in the second one, so that should be out pretty soon. And hopefully we'll be able to bring it to print someday. But right now it's digital. But it's also kind of cool because like that's people can read it, and the more people like it, and the more people comment about it, like the easier it'll be for us to kind of get into print someday. So I'm excited about that. And then like I do have new stuff coming up that's not announced, so I can't really talk about it yet. But I'm doing some more stuff with Mad Cave towards the end of the year and into next year, and a couple of other smaller things here and there with different publishers. So it's pretty exciting, as always.
Exciting times, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you have any con appearances? I expect I'll see you at New York Comic again this year.
Yeah, I'll definitely be at New York Comic Con because I'm so close to the city. So I go there every year, and I'll also be in San Diego this year. I think we're actually going to be doing a Master of the Universe focus signing there. I'm sure we're going to try to do something at New York Comic Con because like I think all 3 issues should be out by then, or at least like the first 2 are definitely going to be. So we'll have like a little bit more to sign there. But yeah, those are like the rest of my cons like for the year. And then next year, probably be doing those, but I'm going to be trying to do some more. I'm going to try to do Heroes Con next year and maybe C2E2. But we'll see. But yeah, and I think we're also over the summer. We're going to be trying to do a few signings around issue 1. So you can watch my social media. Once those get like nailed down, I'll be able to talk about them.
Very cool. And where can we find you on social media? Bit of a moving target these days.
Yeah, no, I know. I am not on as much as I used to be, but I still do post on and read when people talk to me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. At Douek on all of those. Actually, pretty much wherever you see Douek, it's probably me. And then you can also have a newsletter that I put out, usually like bi-weekly. If you just go to my website or any of those social media places, you'll see like where you can sign up for it. And I like that a lot because I get to get a little bit more in depth than I can on social media when I talk about stuff. And I try not to make it all about like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because I feel like it's a little bit boring for like if the only thing I'm talking about is like the stuff I have coming out. So I also talk a lot about writing and the comics industry in general, and writing, art, AI, like all that stuff. I rant about AI a lot, but yeah, I try to cover like a few different topics and not just make it all like promo. So
Skeletor supports AI.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
He would.
He totally would. Like he'd be like, "This is amazing."
Well, Rich, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, sorry about my technical difficulties. I know that didn't make it smooth as sailing, but we overcame and adapted and all that good stuff. So the book is Masters of the Universe Genesis from Dark Horse. And you should absolutely check it out because it's a very cool comic, even if you're not familiar with that world or its characters. So,
and why aren't you?
Right.
You should be.
You should be, damn it, especially if you're like 45 or older. So until next time, Chad, who are we talking to next week?
Kat Calamia and Phil Falco will be joining us.
Cool.
I think they've been doing a lot of their Wizard of Oz stories, and I think they're gearing up for a crossover. I could be wrong, so don't quote me.
No,
All right.
they're super cool. I actually met them like last week. They were doing a signing at a local store, so you guys are having a great time.
Love it. Love to hear it. Well, until next time, thank you all for listening. You can check us out, as always, at comic-watch.com, on Blue Sky, on Twitter, and on Facebook. So, and of course YouTube, where we're airing live now. So, until next time, get out there, do some good in the world. We need it. We need it immensely right now. Less Skeletor, more He-Man.
Yes.
Until next time,
Stay cool.
stay cool. That's right. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thanks.